Because of the increased cyber threats, it makes sense to take a closer look at systems and machines that could potentially be targeted and to access them individually. Based on the impact of the identified risk and the likelihood of occurrences, specific measures and guidelines can be derived to make the detected vulnerabilities more secure. This process is supported by risk-based security management. The security management is a key component of any industrial security concept. It involves defining security measures tailored to the specific system and based on identified threats and risks. The achieving and maintaining of the required security level demands a continuous security management process. This includes a risk analysis that evaluates current threats and defines countermeasures to reduce the risk to an acceptable level. Coordinated organizational and technical measures to minimize the identified risks. And finally, the validation, including a regular review of the relevant security measures. The risk analysis is a central element of the security management. It helps to systematically identify and assess the threat and risk associated with a system or a machine. The typical steps in this process include identifying the asset at risk and their protection objective, estimating their value and the potential damage, analyzing threats and vulnerabilities, reviewing existing security measures, and assessing the overall risk. Risks are deemed unacceptable must be reduced or eliminated through appropriate measures. However, which risks are considered acceptable always depends on the specific use case. It's also important to recognize that absolute security can never be fully achieved, neither through individual measures nor through a combination of them. But industrial security is more than just technology. It must be embraced as a continuous process across all relevant areas of the company. And industrial security is also a management responsibility. Responsibilities for industrial security, IT security, and physical security must be clearly defined and aligned. It requires a cross-functional organization or network that coordinates all security-related topics. But also security awareness is crucial. This includes, for example, a regular training on security-related topics in the production area or a security assessment, including aspects of social engineering. Consistent guidelines and processes also ensure a coordinated approach and support compliance with the overall security concept. Some examples of important guidelines and processes include a clear definition of which risks are acceptable, the reporting channels for the unusual activities, the documentation and communication of security incidents, the handling of known vulnerabilities, the response to secure incidents, also known as the incident response plan, the system recovery after an incident, and, among others, the logging and evaluation of security-relevant events. The implementation of technical measures involves several layers as described in the so-called defense in depth concept. It starts with the plant security, or more specifically, with the physical protection of critical production areas. For example, with the preventing of unauthorized access to the facility. This includes measures both on the company level and directly within the production environment. This means, for example, on the company level, the access is controlled via ID cards, logs, or gatekeepers, and visitors are always accompanied. And within the production area, areas are physically separated and accessible only with proper authorization. And critical components are housed and locked in control cabinets or rooms, ideally with monitoring and alarm systems. The network protection or network security refers to a safeguarding automation system through a secure network design or architecture. Since seamless communication from the control level down to the field level is essential today, special security measures are required. For example, the separation of the office and production networks, like through a central firewall that controls the data flow. Then, a cell protection concept where the production network is segmented into protected zones. This prevents unauthorized access, intentional overloads because of forced high data traffic, and other threats. Firewalls or automation devices with integrated firewalls or VPN functionality can then protect each production cell individually. Also, secure remote access available only to authenticated and authorized individuals, and for example also cloud connectivity with access protection and encrypted data transmission. All this contribute to a modern and secure network design. The system integrity involves, among other things, access protection for configuration of automation systems. For example, unauthorized configuration changes to automation components must be prevented. To achieve this, it's important to use integrated access protection mechanisms such as the user management and access control. After all measures have been implemented, a final security audit is carried out with the goal to verify were all measures were implemented as planned. Did the measures have reduced the identified risk as expected? And are there any further adjustments or additional measures needed? But it's also important to regularly repeat the risk analysis. Threats can change, for example, due to expansion or modification of the system, new vulnerabilities, or attack methods, or something else. So let me wrap up by summarizing the most important points once again. Industrial cybersecurity is not just a technical issue. It must be understood as a continuous process and lived as a management task. Depending on the risk of the application, appropriate organizational and technical measures must be implemented and regularly reviewed. Effective protection can only be achieved through the cooperation of all those involved. And finally, a general note. The example shown, of course, intended only as a rough orientation and must be adapted or expanded as needed to fit your specific application or requirements. At Siemens Digital Industry, we offer suitable products, systems, and security services for comprehensive industrial security solutions. So please feel free to contact our specialists for advice or further information. You can find all the details via the link shown down here. So thanks very much for staying with me. Stay healthy and become secure with Siemens.